What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here. I'm at GenCon and with someone that I haven't seen in quite a while, but this is pretty exciting. So I'm at the Elderwood Academy booth, and Quentin's here with me, and we're going to talk about some of the cool new stuff they've got going on. So welcome.
Thanks, Ted. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
So what do we got some, you guys are familiar with all of the Elderwood products. We talked about them all in the past, but there's a handful of new things there's actually one thing here that's the only one in existence.
Yes.
Do we want to start there?
Yeah, I guess we'll start there so people don't have to be bored and watch me ramble on for like 20 minutes afterwards.
Fair.
Right. We'll just get this out of the way.
Sure.
So without further ado, this is our adventure journal. And this was a design that came together pretty recently, and we brought this one to the show to kind of get feedback from people and see if it was like a product people are interested in. But fundamentally, it's supposed to be your one-stop D&D or RPG notebook, and it's kind of a classic notebook, except it's got kind of a key feature here is this is your dice box. So you got space for a bunch of dice, you got space for a miniature, and then once you've got the dice box removed, you can, well, these are unsnapped already, but this is your notebook that you can take notes on. We've got you'd have like an A5 sized character sheet to build your character on. We've got like one here from, actually this is a DM journal here from 1985 games, but hopefully we can incorporate as much useful content and programs and stuff that already exist so that like whatever you're using, this can be a constructive format for you. If it's your cup of tea, obviously, it's for me, but it's not for everybody. I definitely am looking forward to building my own.
So obviously this is going to come with all of the standard Elderwood Academy customizability that we could expect as far as foils and leathers and wood types and stuff, correct?
Yeah, that's I guess the obvious question that I should be prepared for. So this is a prototype, and we are still figuring out some of the details about how the nuts and bolts of how the straps and the aesthetics are going to look. But we've learned a lot of lessons from our Master Tome project that we did last year, and we're trying to bring those forward. And so, yeah, the same sort of like choose your foil, choose your art. I feel like I'm going to say this, and then we're not going to deliver it, and then people are going to be like, hey, you said this is going to happen. I think we're going to have the tech up so people will be able to put their title and their author's name here, and additionally get a laser engraved spine here. And I'm really looking forward to that because, like, I know for me, the idea of this on my bookshelf that I can be like, oh yeah, this is the one I keep for this adventure. I can pull it off the shelf. That's exciting to me. But
all right, he's stalling. I'll get you here. So,
Thanks.
what was the thought process? Who came up with this? Was it just, we've done a handful of other things and we don't have a notebook product, or was there just like, hey, I really want something like this and nothing like this exists, so I'm going to make it? Or
there's like two pieces to this story. One of them I can probably articulate well, and the other one, well, we'll just dig in.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So let me just grab one of these guys. This is our Spellbook gaming box. You guys have probably seen this before. These have been around. We launched these in 2015.
Yeah.
And this is actually the product that, Hex Chests were our like original product that we came out with because Redditors asked for them, and so we launched a Kickstarter, and that formed the company. And at that moment, the company it was just me and Dan, and we made all 1,000+ Hex Chests by hand for that Kickstarter. And then when we launched Spellbooks, this is like what kind of brought the company to life, really, because the project was so big that we had to hire people, we had to scale up. It forced us to do all those things. And these have been around for a while. And one of the things that we've been talking around internally is like, we've learned so much. What would Spellbooks look like today with all of the knowledge and stuff that we've learned? And so I got a little stack here of like, these are all kind of prototype projects, but so I'll start with this guy. This is a deck box. So again, sort of like this could be on your bookshelf. This would be your Swamplands deck, or and we had a size for a commander. This one's size for more like a standard play. And this guy, we've learned this has a bunch of really cool build techniques in here. But we've got like a suede lining in here to keep your cards protected. There's even suede on the inside here and everything. Sorry, trying to show this off, but suede there. We got a little pocket here for dice, so you can like throw some dice in there. And it's got magnetic closure. The magnets they're tucked away in here and underneath this piece of maple. And this is it's a combination of a classic box build on the outside with some like laser cut parts and some precision pieces that come together in like kind of a really lightweight and nice package. And so this is one of the things that we sort of dreamed up. And then in parallel, here's another one. This is another example for our, we've been internally just calling this Spellbook 2.0. And just to contrast these two things, I need 4 hands.
Yeah,
do you have like a pet octopus?
Yeah, right. A little bit bigger, right, in size. If we were to spin this over,
Yep.
So we're maybe a slightly bigger footprint. Yeah, not too much bigger. But.
It's actually the footprint size was specifically we were thinking about A5 size notebooks, so people could have include a little bit of that. This is not an obvious lesson, but size is expensive.
Yeah.
I know when we first launched these original spellbooks, people were like, "Oh my God, could I get one that fits a full-size character sheet?" And not gonna lie, that's this.
Yeah.
This is the.
Yep.
This is the most expensive product we've ever made. It's the most complicated product we've ever made, and I love them. And it's a very different look and feel than our original spellbooks in terms of like use case. Can you throw that in your backpack? You know, all those sorts of questions.
You need to just put straps on that and make it a backpack.
You know, one of our Lucy in the shop. Sorry to call you out, Lucy, if you watch this. She put together a design for like a backpack sort of thing, so you could like have this on your backpack. And she was working on integrating some of the other products into it too. So if you have like one of our old harnesses, you could like include.
I never got one of those, by the way. I was told there was going to be a new version, and I had many people asking me, is there going to be a new version, and it never came out. But we're not here to talk about that right now.
There was a new version, actually. Betsy put together, she put together kind of a slightly improved version with some snaps and some rethinking about how we did things. It simplified the product, but actually also improved it. So anyways, skipping that rabbit hole for now. So this guy, again, we had the dry erase reflecting pool over here, which was a nice feature. We used like foam cutouts here, so you could like kind of customize the interior. And then this also doubled as a rolling tray during play. And this guy is kind of a similar thinking. And this is prototype. We're missing a bunch of stuff here. It's like this would be felt lined on the inside. We would also have like a foam here to help keep things closed. But effectively, this creates your rolling tray space while still allowing you access to all of the stuff that you do. And then instead of having swappable foam inserts, we actually have swappable bases. And so how that works, and I'm going to embarrass myself here.
Help me out here.
There we go. So how that works is this whole thing actually snaps on and off, this side too. And this guy, so if you had like a different style that you wanted to, you could get like a different wood cut insert, and you would just snap this guy. I don't know if we'll see this on camera, but snaps right there. And then that's your new interior. So anyways, this is like some of the stuff, and this is still in, you know, we're trying to think about like, is this build correct? Are there things that we should be doing better about this? Is this what people want too?
Sure.
And so one of the reasons they're at the show here is, and actually this is also this is the only one of these. Well, yeah, one of the reasons we're bringing the show is like we want to hear what people think, and you know, I don't know, I've said this a million times, but hopefully we're not just building stuff, we're like actually building stuff to improve people's gaming lives. So.
Well, I think both of them are great examples, both the journal and the 2.0 spellbook, whatever it ends up getting named. But I like them. I think they definitely fill a void, especially the journal. I really like the concept of that. So I'm always looking for something better to keep it, because I couldn't put a journal of any kind in my existing spellbook. So this helps fix that. But so you and I talked a little bit, but would this be something you'd be, well, one, how do we make sure that the people out there that want this to become a thing, how do they make sure they get their word out to tell you, hey, we want this? Because I assume Kickstarter would be the plan to get another run of these made.
Both good questions. The most obnoxious thing, which is actually kind of great, is if you literally like tweet at us or hit us on Instagram and be like, hey, I saw that journal, you guys need to make that. that's like that's a very potent thing that you can do. That everybody in the shop will be like, hey, why am I getting barraged by these questions about this stuff? And then the less potent but probably more practical thing to do, if you're on our homepage, there's a link for there's a picture of this guy, and there's a link for a page where you can see this in video, and you can also sign up on email, or sign your email address up there for specifically this project. So if you're like, yeah, I don't care about getting a whole bunch of newsletter things, but I'm interested in this, sign up there, and then we promise to spam you with kittens afterwards. So.
Spam with kittens. All right, same thing for the Spellbook 2.0 as well?
This guy doesn't have a homepage yet. There isn't a place to sign up kind of interest on this, and internally a lot of that just has to do with I want to make sure we're thinking this through. Like, as a D&D player, I use our Spellbook Minis right now. That's like the kind of minimalist. That's one of my favorite art products, and for me, like, this would replace my Spellbook Mini. And so personally, it's like, this is the thing I want in my backpack, so I'm ready to play D&D, because then I don't have to have a separate notebook for all the stuff, and it feels like it's self-contained. This guy, and again, this is just my personal preference. I think I should also say, there's a lot that's like ready to go here. There's a lot of the design here that is finalized, feels fit and finish, and like if you actually held this thing, you'd be like, oh wow, that's it feels like a high quality product. There's a lot of details that I want to make sure that we're getting right, including the design of the interior, making sure we're offering the right sort of things there. And there's a bunch of other stuff. I would just tell you, like, right off the bat, whoever designed this first one, I think it was me, it's like, yeah, we don't really need magnets on the inside here. You just need them on the outside. Yeah. And so making sure we're getting all those details right for everybody is like, it's not critical, but we like to get those things right. So there's a bunch of stuff like here that I think may change, and so we're having a couple discussions in-house to figure out exactly why we like this and make sure that we're emphasizing those things well.
Well, I mean, I think I like it because, it wouldn't be a stretch to have, in theory, two, and one is just like, this is my dice and mini holder, and then another one that, like, this is my rolling tray. Or, I guess, buy multiple inserts and then, get it to the table. The minis go over here, snap it in. Now this is my dice tray. So I could see there being a reason to have multiple inserts, or why folks would want to have that. Because it's just a nice, it's better than like a Plano case, right? Like a plastic Plano case for storing mini or dice. It's a nice, aesthetic, bespoke kind of a thing that people would want to have. So I could see that definitely working. And the fact that, like, if I decide I'm not going to need that, it's not like, well, I bought this for no reason. I could buy new inserts and change it out. So I think there'll be I think, you guys let us know, but I think there'll be some folks that are interested in seeing that as well. Same thing with the deck box, too.
Yeah, I know I didn't talk a whole lot about the deck box after showing it off briefly, but it's, we've largely been focused on D&D and other tabletop role-playing for kind of since the inception. It's always been to my chagrin. Those of you who don't know, I'm an MTG fan. And Dan, my co-founder, is like the D&D fan, and so we're always making D&D stuff, and we rarely are making MTG stuff. But it's also it's a little bit of a tougher, from a functional perspective, bringing wood together in a way that doesn't feel clunky. Mm-hmm. You can end up making a classic dice box that looks like the standard plastic dice box was made out of wood. It's hard to make that in a way that either doesn't feel too brittle, like the side panels are so thin that it feels like it's not quality, but also make that in a way that doesn't feel like it's super bulky, where you're like, oh yeah, I've got like an extra 3/8 of an inch of wood on all sides here, and so it's just a little bit more of a struggle. And I know for me, I hate that deck boxes all have this proportion of like a it's a rectangular prism. Yeah. And when I put it in my backpack, it makes a bump in my backpack, which, I don't know, sometimes it feels weird, it makes my backpack fit funny, all those kinds of things. And my ideal deck box would actually be a, like those notebooks, like a little sketch pad. Yeah. It would be that size, and you like open it up and you like scoop all the cards up and you got your deck. And turn it into your play mat too after you're done. But breaking it's like you're always left with this challenge. Do you either keep the deck as one unit, which is going to force you to have a clunky aspect ratio, or do you break it into multiple decks? And you can see we've drawn, like, in this design, we've drawn a little bit of a compromise here of, like, this fits 2 sets of I think 40 single sleeve cards or some. I should really double check that before this interview. Some number of cards. That's
It wouldn't be one of our interviews if you didn't get the facts wrong.
Of course, yeah. So, anyways, this fits cards. At least one. I'll put that on video. So obviously here we're like splitting into 2 decks, and we do have a larger size for a commander if you had like a double sleeve commander deck, which also, if you did like dual decks, you could fit like a single sleeve one side dual deck and the other side dual deck, which actually be kind of a fun thing. So you have your elves versus goblins or whatever you're playing. Yeah, I'm like rambling so much, I'm losing my train of thought.
Well, how about we talk about the Master Tome then?
All right, that sounds good. We'll get back on track here. So I apologize for whatever I was saying, but that's what. So we've been we launched a Kickstarter for our Master Tome. This is a DM screen and box.
Also, it's everything, really.
It is a little bit of everything. There's modular interiors. This can fit your full-size character sheets like we talked before.
Full-size D&D books. You can put a whole book in there.
Yes. Yeah, so you could have your handbook in here along with like all of your, a bunch of dice or a bunch of minis, whatever floats your boat. And originally we actually did some beta testing on these to make sure that we got all the details right and stuff. And a lot of the beta testers were actually not they were like buying them not for a DM screen, they just wanted a cool box. And
it's a super cool box. You can't argue. I mean, it's a statement piece no matter where you put it.
Yes, and I mean, I don't know how this is going to show off in video, but we consistently, and you can read our comments on our Kickstarter page, but I think people don't understand what they're getting, and then they get it and they're like, holy cow, this is quite a piece. So but yeah, let's take a quick peek under the hood here. Sure. This is going to be really awkward.
Yeah, I don't know, Harold. You open one side and I'll hold the other side, something like that?
Yeah. It's a joint effort. All right, you pull that side. There you go. So right off the bat, we've got a couple, we call them the wings internally, and these hold your stuff in place, so when you're opening the box, you don't just spill everything out. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel one of these guys off here carefully. Cool. So these actually, they would flip over like this. And Ted, you can skip that. I know it's going to be hard for you. But both of them flipped over. This actually forms your basic DM screen. And then I'm going to put this guy down for a second here. So you can see on this side we've got, these are the module interiors. And so these are all magnetic. And this one's going to be super awkward because it has Hex Chest minis in it. But these guys actually come out of place. And so you can get the modules that you want to build. And I know personal preference here, but I think a lot of our backers have done this too. Leaving one side empty so you have some flex space, which will fit a source book or full-size sheets, all those notes and stuff like that. And then having dice. This is our DM kit, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But this guy fits inside one of the standard modules, which is I know it's boring, but it's super useful.
Basically just be another rolling tray or something to store your stuff, pens, pencils, minis.
Yeah. And so when you set this up as a DM screen, you would pull these guys out and put them in front of you. So these are no longer vertical here, or at least I assume you would. You can do what you want. But yeah. And then moving back to our DM kit here, these little guys don't look fancy, but these are actually really important. These are your initiative trackers. And so you can magnet them on here. You can also magnet them onto the wings. So there's a lot of flexibility here. And then they've got like a little slot here for these steel cards that you can write character names or mob names, whatever you need. And so initiative tracking, I feel like, is one of the top things that your DM screen can do for you or can help you do. And then the second thing, we got a bunch of, these are not fancy, these are all ball bearings, but these are our document holders, and they actually, they magnet onto the wings. Thanks. Yeah, there we go. So you can like hold reference documents on the inside. There's one down. Or hold them onto the outside of these things for your players to see. So if you had like a map that you wanted to keep them referenced to, you could just stick on the outside for them. And it's kind of a simple solution, but it's highly effective.
No, these are fantastic. I have one. There's a review on the channel. You can go check it out.
Yep.
But yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, I know there was a dice tower insert or some other things as well.
Yeah, I think we ended up with 7 total inserts, and like one is kind of set up to be okay, dropping things. There we go. Well, actually, you know, Ted, I'm just gonna put this down for a second.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Just gonna sit on my lap. One of them's a dice tower. One of them is kind of keyed in to be like more of a rolling tray element that actually can work with the dice tower. And we've got one that's set up so if you have like a tablet that you use, you can kind of like stick the tablet or your phone in to kind of keep it upright for reference. It's not sophisticated in like a really detailed way, but it makes it more flexible so you can use it for. I know some people will be like, oh yeah, I put my tablet here, but then I like put dice in the back slot or a pen or something like that.
Well, like I said, I definitely, anytime anybody comes to my house and they see this, they're like, what is that? This is a big statement piece. It's foil, it's leather, it smells amazing. If you love wood and leather, that's really one of the best parts about it. But it can hold so much stuff. And like I said, you could take all of the inserts out and just use it as a way to cart your books around if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, just as like a mobile briefcase, but like it looks way cooler.
We actually have a backer who I owe him an email right now, but he asked for a custom interior that he could use for like electronics use and storage.
Okay.
And it's going to be he's been great to work with in the past, but it's going to be an interesting project to kind of go through the details of that and see how this product can service his need there.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the folks at Elderwood are constantly coming up with cool new products that are just, they all have a nice aesthetic. You can get them all custom made if you want. You can get a whole suite of everything that all has a similar design with your personal logo, multiple foil colors in some instances.
Or a Nerd Immersion logo.
Or a Nerd Immersion logo. I mean, listen, I get my stuff with it. If you guys really want a Nerd Immersion logo thing, you can ask. I'm not going to tell you you can't have it.
All right, that's good to know. So we have permanent. Well, we'll say semi-permanent use to if you guys have requests for Nerd Immersion stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think like it makes sense for me to have it, but like I mean, if you want to buy a dice tray or something with my logo on it and represent it, and just make sure you tell people to like and subscribe when they ask what it is. But yeah, it's fine. So anything else that you want people to know about here at the booth, or just in general about what you guys have coming up?
You know, this may sound a little sappy, but just I know the last few years have been really hard for a lot of people, and I just want to make sure, you know, people are taking care of themselves and being healthy, both mentally and physically. I know it's been a very lonely period for a lot of people, and I know I've been really appreciative to have friends and family around, and I've been really appreciative of all the staff that we have that is making all this stuff. People have been safe. People have been on top of stuff. We've been doing a good job keeping each other protected, and I just, it's like a moment of reflection for the appreciation. I know we can look at the world and see all the stuff going wrong, but there's a lot of stuff that's going right, and I appreciate being able to reflect that sort of stuff, especially in a situation like over the last couple of years, the stuff we've been through. So I hope all of you out there are taking care of yourselves and appreciating your family and friends and stuff like that. So, and I'll end being sappy right there. But
yeah, I was gonna say, well, I mean, you can't really say much more than that beautiful, heartfelt speech there. So I think with that, we'll bring this interview to a close. I'll have all the links to Elderwood stuff in the description. Again, while that was very heartfelt, feel free to harass them about making sure the D&D Journal becomes a thing, because I want it. So I request that all of you say, hey, make this a thing so that we can get one. And then, yeah, you can get one with the Nerd Immersion logo right on the front.
Nice.
All right. We'll see you next time.